3, go.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Sorry for being late. 2 minutes, 30 seconds late. Why? Well, you know, a whole lot of stuff is happening at our main KPFT station. So I had a few fires to talk about, etc., 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 etc. And of course, that made me a bit late. So anyhow, we're going to have a great show for you today. Welcome aboard. British MCP. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bruce Pollard. Welcome aboard, my brother. Melanie Keelan, all the way from España, Spain, Barcelona. We are here with AVQ as well. How you doing, AVQ? Welcome to see everybody. We have a great show, man. Let me tell you. Ted Cruz came to Houston, but Houston gave it to Ted Cruz. Well, actually, Ted Cruz, I think, lives some subdivision out here in Houston. But suffice it to say, he's not a very liked person. But anyway, let's start with El Señor Rodnan, who says Biden believes rational Republicans could move on gun control. He's dreaming, of course. There's 4 categories that Biden can do what would effectively eliminate over 90% of mass shooting incidents. First, raise the gun ownership age from 18 to 21. Exception for gun ownerships, military and law enforcement. Second, hold liable any adults that give a weapon to a child or keep an unsecure weapon near a child if that child does damage with the weapon. Exactly. Third, gun confiscation for domestic violence and or animal abuse, as these 2 charges in particular are signaling precursors to the vast majority of mass shooters. I agree. Lastly, fourth, gun prohibition for anyone charged with a violent crime, and let the politicians decide the duration. We need to start criminalizing criminal behavior among the bad guys with guns before they do great damage, as mass shootings are all but never the first incident of their crimes. Makes me wish Democrats would hear me. Also now, let's see how many contrarian conservatives here will stand up for wife beaters and sadists. Hey, you're kind of getting poetic, Mr. Rudnan. I kind of like that, though. I love that. Alistair Waters just joined the house. Welcome aboard, as well did Yvette Avery Herod. How you doing, my dear, beautiful friends? Welcome to Politics Done Right. You guys know how I'm going to start. Let me first tell you guys a little story, right? I am here, I think it was Friday. Was it Friday night or Saturday night? I think it was Saturday night. I think it was Saturday. No, it was Friday night. I get a call or a signal. You know, we have a particular kind of application we use to communicate. And I got a signal from one of our great activists out there in Houston saying, Egberto, we did a hell of a job today. We went to the meetings. We did all these things that we went to the rallies. We bird dog folk, and we did all these great things, right? But you're not going to believe it, brother. We did something even better. And then I said, what is it? Tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. And he says, nah, not telling you, because you're going to break this story. Let us finish this stuff first, because we want you to be the first to put this baby out there. To which I said, okay, no problem. I won't pressure you anymore. Go do your job and then give me a shout. Probably 1 in the morning or so, I get the text with the video. And he said, take off with this baby. And we took off with the baby. And what was that baby, folks? I want to show you guys without further ado. This is the work of, actually, this is the work of one of the board members of Indivisible Houston, Benjamin Hernandez, under and as well, you know, helped out with organizing all this stuff together was um, Daniel Cohen, who is the president of Indivisible Houston. These guys, I am so proud of them. They went out there and they kicked it. So anyhow, let's go ahead and play that video for you, and then we'll take it on the other side. Afterwards, we'll tell you a little bit about it. Then I did an interview with him yesterday and asked him how you went about it, etc. So let's go ahead and play him, and then we'll take it on the other side.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Go. We're good. Yeah, we got it.
You know, I would encourage you. I gave a half-hour speech today at the NRA Convention because there are actually a lot of laws.
Yeah, but can you tell me, like, I have a young daughter, and can you tell me why it's more important, why you can't support stronger gun laws?
Because
I mean,
the laws,
background check.
the laws.
Tell me about background check. What about background check? Background check. Can we do background check?
Sir?
Is it so hard?
All right, you don't want to listen to me?
But is that
Okay.
so hard? No, I do. I'm just saying.
No, you actually don't.
Go ahead. I'll listen.
So, if you look at the laws, the Democrats are going, they wouldn't stop those massacre.
Do you know this shooter waited until the day he was 18? Why is it so hard to support stronger gun laws?
But background check wouldn't stop the shooter. But you know what would have? The bill
You
that I introduced.
can make it harder for people to get guns in this country.
Sir,
You know that. No, you know that. But you stand here. You stand at the NRA Convention. It is harder. It is harder. When there are more guns to stop gun violence.
Ignorance and hatred.
It is not ignorance.
You don't know what you're talking
We
about.
are in this country and there are guns everywhere and there are kids dying. There are kids dying. Why is it so hard?
Why is it so hard? Why do Democrats filibuster my bills that would have stopped you violence?
I told you that. Why can't you just support stronger gun laws?
I've introduced multiple
But why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Why? Hey,
Okay. He's just talking.
Why does this keep happening? Tell me why this keeps happening. And why did you come here to the convention?
You need to back up.
Take
You
blood
need to
money?
back up. You need to
Why?
back up.
When 19 children died,
You need to
19
back up.
children died. That's on your hands. That is on your hands. Ted Cruz, that's on your hands.
Okay, folks, let's first get something straight. That is Republican orthodoxy, the orthodoxy of death, the orthodoxy of whatever it takes. We don't believe in caring. We don't believe in any. That's their orthodoxy, okay? And that is what Benjamin Hernandez was confronting him with. Look, the guy waited till he turned 18. He doesn't have yet a completely matured mind. He turned 18. All we're asking, the guy can't drink at 18 legally, but he can own an AR-15 at 18 years old, and he buys it as soon as he turns 18 in May, and then goes kill as soon as he turns 18. Think about that. And Ted Cruz could not see in his heart that just passing laws that prevent guns from being sold like they were hotcakes would somehow solve the problem. But anyhow, I then spoke to Benjamin Hernandez. Daniel went ahead and made sure that we got connected to go ahead and get this stuff done. I want you to listen to the interview that we did. We did that. Well, let me make sure that I don't have anything else to talk about. Okay, I got you guys covered. Go ahead and listen to this interview. I think you're going to find it quite interesting. I am very impressed with Benjamin Hernandez because he shows that he understands the concepts. Check this out, then we'll take it on the other side. Welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willis. Today I have the honor to be with a board member of Indivisible Houston and a not only local but now a national hero, Benjamin Hernandez. Benjamin Hernandez, welcome to Politics Done Right. How are you doing today, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing great, and let me tell you, when I got notion from that this stuff went down from I just couldn't believe it. I here's a message I got. Wait for the video. You are going to love it. We're cleaning it up. The work got done. And
Yeah.
that came from Daniel Cohen, president of Indivisible Houston, and you're a board member of Indivisible Houston, and you got it done. I tell you what,
Yeah.
you actually did something to Ted Cruz that many people tried, and they were never as successful as you were. So first of all, lay out exactly what happened in that eatery for me.
Yeah, I think, I mean, but I think I also want to say, man, it had to been fate because, earlier this week, Beto, had, when he confronted Governor Abbott,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote something on Twitter, like, this is how we have to confront all these hypocrites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on Wednesday night, Daniel is such good people, with Indivisible Houston, the president and co-founder there of Indivisible. He called me Wednesday night and he's like, hey, I got this idea. And I was like, what? I mean, it was like 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's up? And he's like, I got these cutouts of Ted Cruz. Let's go drop him off in front of the convention center, right on his chest. I murdered teachers and children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let's go. So like, we're really busy people, man. We're busy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But there we are Thursday morning outside the convention center at 8 a.m. just putting this up, right? And then on Friday, our team volunteered to do the live streaming for the protest, for the entire protest, and put it on the internet, right? And so I'd been in this space of like, this is the most important thing happening, in this week, and I needed to be involved. And so, we were done, went home, took a shower, and went out for sushi, and with my wife. And so we're almost wrapping up, and then I look over, and then I see Ted Cruz, and I'm like, this effer, right? Like, sorry, I don't know if you cuss or not here, but anyway, it just like came out. Like, I tell people I don't really cuss, but it was just like this, I'm trying to have sushi, and here you are just walking in. And to me, it was clear. I was like, okay, like, I'm in this space, to me, it's like everything aligned, and I'm here and I have to do something, right?
Right.
Because like I told you, just the context of the week, and like, it's real easy to tweet, right, and say something like Beto did, we got to confront all these people. But then when Ted Cruz walks into the room, it gets real really fast, right? And for me, it was like, I mean, there was just not a question of something had to be done, right? And I was there, and I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Now, what happened? You saw him walk in. He sat down at a table with his family, I believe.
Yeah, he was with a big party, family. Like, I don't know who they are. I definitely recognize his wife. I don't know much about his children, so I don't know if that they were at the table or not. But I know it was at least a party of 8 people that were there. Yeah.
And then, did you just approach the table, or what did you do?
Yeah, so like I knew something had to be done, right? And this is what I love about like our network, right? Because I texted our group here, Indivisible, our board members, and I was like, hey, you're not gonna believe this. Ted Cruz is here. Like, give me your thoughts. Because like, to me, like, we've been working on this collective action for years now, right? And I'm like, how unlucky do you have to be, Ted Cruz, right? Like, we're a big city, right? Like, the city of Houston proper is 2 million plus, the metro area of over 6 million people. And I'm like, to find yourself in a restaurant where there is a board member of Indivisible, where our goal is to hold elected officials accountable, right? I'm like, how unlucky do you have to be? So anyways, I texted them and I got some ideas back, but it was ultimately sort of like, we got to go confront them and ask them the questions, right? Ask them the hard questions. And so, I'm figuring out like how to do this. And I was like, well, I'm just going to go up and just ask to take a picture, right? Because I've seen that before. So that's what I'm gonna do. But here's the interesting thing is like, I was trying to be like extra sly about it, because I'm like, surely this guy's heard this before. So the way I walked up to him and I was like, excuse me, Senator, like, hey, not now, when you're finished, with your dinner. Can I get a picture with you? I was like, no, not now. Finish your dinner, because they had just served them.
Right.
And he's like, you know, because I thought if I go that route, then he, you know, he'd just be like even more unsuspecting after dinner kind of thing. The guy was like, no, let's do this now. And I was like, oh, let's do this now. So I called my wife over, who was ready, and she was gonna, you know, take the video, this whole thing.
Now, she did a great video, and I'm going to play the video in a little bit. But I mean, the video was great because it just looked like a two fans of Ted Cruz wanting to get a video with him, and he was eating it up. The guy is a colossal narcissist. And not only a narcissist, but I actually think he believes in his own evil, that it's not. And so it was amazing watching how he was actually very into you, that you were so into him. So what happened after that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I could not wait to take that smile off my face for that fake picture, right? Because as you saw, my friend told me, man, you went from 0 to 60 real quick. I was like, yeah, because I'm like, I got to do this picture so I can get to him. And here's the interesting thing, right? It's like, that's the thing with Ted Cruz and these politicians, right? Who shield themselves from constituents, right? They're not the type of people. Try calling his office, right? You're going to get his voicemail. You know, try making an appointment. You know, you're not going to get one. They're not the type of people that hold town halls. So what we got to do is we got to revert to these tactics of like, hey, I want to take a picture of you so I can get close to you and ask you these questions, right? So the moment we were done with that picture, like I just turned to him and I just went in and I was like, hey, why is it so hard to to support background checks? And the reason, to me, I started with that is because we very likely have different views on what we need to do with guns in this country. But I am like, surely we can start with common ground, which the vast majority of Americans support, right? With just background checks. And so that's where I started, right? And so immediately at some point he gets wind of like okay, like like, I mean, that he was not expecting that. You can see he glances down at the camera and he's like, okay, all right, it's going to be one of these. And so we just engage, like, I'm trying to ask him this question to which he has no answers. He goes to his canned response, which is like, wow, the Democrats, the proposals, and I'm like, stop talking to me, man, about the proposals of the Democrat. I want to know why the hell you can't get behind background checks. It is so simple, right? So yeah, that's we moved into that part real quick.
You know, some of the people that I placed the video on my YouTube for Politics Done Right and Egberto on the Run, and it turned out that some of the people, it's evident that they were right wingers. Like, you're not giving him a chance to talk. And when I saw some of the comments, I finally said, at last, we are not the ones that are taken. At last, we are the ones that are given, and saying, let me tell you, we are going to force you not to bloviate. We are going to force you not to put out a canned answer, because many times what they do is they are using your question to give the answer that they want, to give the direction that they want people to actually hear on that conversation. And you never gave him a chance to do that. And that was what was so perfect about the way you approached Ted Cruz. Those people who like or think they like Ted Cruz would look at that and say, well, give him a chance to talk. You never allowed him to say what you weren't going to, the fallacies that he normally puts out there. Finish that for me.
Yeah, because, you know, at some moment he's like, well, let me speak. And I was like, okay, we'll speak. But when I see he's just going into these things, like, I don't have time for that, right? Like, there are people, we are in this moment, right? Because there are families who just lost their kids and the two teachers, right? Like, and so you're going to sit here and try to give me this I don't have time for that, right? And I had not sort of analyzed it until you're saying that, but to me, it just like, it was never a question. I mean, I was really trying to see, like, this wasn't a gotcha thing. I was just like, to me, I was like, hey, I want to know this, right? Like, tell me where you are on this and why this is so hard. It wasn't a gotcha. And so when I'm like, wait, you're trying to give me that thing, that response, that canned response that I heard earlier in the week from you, from Sky News, that you gave it to that British reporter. Like, that's the same thing you're trying to give me here at Uptown Sushi. I'm not taking it, because I'm like, that's not what I'm about. I want an answer that it doesn't seem to compute why the hell you can't get behind something so basic.
Exactly, exactly. One of the other thing, Benjamin, that I really am I'm hoping all of us in the movement start to do is right now we saw those murders, and those murders are a direct result of the policies of Republicans, Ted Cruz, uh, Greg Abbott,
Mhm.
Dan Patrick, and all the cabal in Washington. You and I know that. But those deaths that we saw in Uvalde, those deaths that we saw in Buffalo, those deaths that we saw at Sandy Hook, those are physical deaths we can see. We can see flesh and blood on the ground. The deaths that we don't see are more profound and larger. Texas not accepting the Medicaid expansion to Affordable Care Act, that killed a lot of people. We don't
Mhm.
see the flesh and blood on the ground. Not giving parents the ability to find suitable locations for their kids when they go to work, create latchkey kids that create the problems that have kids without supervision and further debts. I want us to expand the GOP killing to not just the flesh and blood we see on the ground,
Mhm.
but further. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know what your religious background is, but I'll tell you, as a Christian, to me, one thing that just irks me so much, incenses me about this whole situation is because you have this political party, Republicans, talking about upholding life and life this and life that, but everything that they do in practice is against life, right? Like you talked about healthcare, whether it's Medicaid or supporting people who need it or supporting children, right? And everything that they, or guns in this case, right? So everything that they are doing is against life. And so to me, when I see it, you're absolutely right. And I think we have to begin to call them out on that because there is a hypocrisy in that they uphold life and they say these are the things we're doing. The on abortion, right? The classic case, right? Like they are protecting the unborn child, and yet they are ignoring everything else. And to me, that's something that has to begin to be called out. And I think we have to have honest conversations because people are dying every day. I'm going to take this a step further. One of the big disappointments to me that has happened in sort of the, in these past couple of years is if Republicans, they're always talking about God and their Christianity and their faith, right? The vast majority of them, right?
Mhm.
There's everybody in the
Exceptions,
Republican
yeah.
Party, right, right. But they uphold these values, and I'm like, we just went through a worldwide pandemic. Y'all should have been the first ones. If you care about life so much, y'all should have been the first one. They're like, we need to get out of here and get vaxxed. We need to do this for others because our faith, requires that we be good to people, right? And to me, when I'm looking at them, like, but y'all are against the most basic things that will help life, that will make life better for people. I'm like, who the hell are you? Like I don't know what you're about. And I think that's one of the things that we've seen over the past couple of years. We've seen this unmasking of Republicans and really who they are, right? They say they are one thing, but in reality they're another.
I am so happy that I'm here interviewing you, Benjamin. And let me tell you why. Because you get it. Because the group that you represent get it. And that is what we have to call that. A few days ago, I interviewed Andrew Schmookler. He is somebody who ran for office as a fairly progressive Democrat in Virginia. And he said one of the problems with so many progressives, with so many Democrats, is the inability to call things the way they really
Mhm.
are, the inability to look at what Republicans are doing and articulate it to people that what they are doing is utter evil. And he
Mhm.
said the word evil. We cater it in words like they're not doing what's right, they're being hypocrites, etc. Some of this, people die, people get hurt, people get maimed. This is utter evil. And when I heard the way you expressed it, I said, you know what? We are in good hands with folks like you leading the movement. One of the things that I always ask at the end of my interviews is, what
Mhm.
would you have liked me to ask you that I didn't, or what would you like to add to this particular discussion?
I think we have to move away from this this veil of civility, right? I think we have to learn to confront our elected officials and leaders, especially when they are hiding from us. And I think there's two levels to that. One, confronting them, whether it's on the street, whether it's a restaurant, like I had to do, movie theater, it doesn't matter, because if they're hiding from us, I think we have to confront them if they're not creating the space for us to ask questions and get answers. Because at the end of the day, we've heard the thing, right? They work for us. So if they work for us, why are they hiding from us? And then the second thing I would say is that that's for them. That is reserved for them. I would say for our community and the people around us, I think we have to engage in meaningful conversations, because the people that are dividing us are these elected officials, right? Those people we have to confront and be shameless about confronting them and get the courage to confront them. But when we look at our communities and our neighborhoods, for the vast majority of them, we're not like that. We can engage in conversation. I bet like something like as background checks, we would find agreement with our neighbors no matter where they are on the political aisle. And so to me, it's those things hand in hand. I would encourage other folks, if you take anything away from this, is go and confront your elected officials, and with your community, engage them in those conversations. But we cannot back down, because we've been doing that for far too long, and it's got us to where we're at now. They always say, right, the time is now, not now for this. Well, it's now. It's now, and we're making the space. That's what I'm asking others. Make the space for those conversations when they don't make it for us.
Benjamin Hernandez, board member of Indivisible Houston, and our latest hero to confront Ted Cruz, someone who's there damaging us all. Thank you so kindly, Benjamin, for having been on Politics Done Right.
All right, take care, man. Thank you.
We spend a lot of time. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. I was really excited to speak to Benjamin Hernandez, because he did what we all like to do: make these guys account for their inner evil. Sue Tempen, thank you so kindly for becoming our latest member of the PDR Posse. Thank you so kindly. If you notice, you're up on the screen because you are our latest member, so you're on the screen. Why don't some of you join Sue? Go ahead and click that join button. And by the way, we have a whole lot of listeners, but only 7 thumbs up. Folks, all of you that are listening right now, all of you, please, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Let this algorithm work. So please go ahead and give us that thumbs up. I know you can. I know you can, because you have before. Oh, we crashed. No, we didn't. We didn't crash. I thought we crashed. We do have a pending crash that I held back. Let's hope I can continue to hold that back. Anyway, folks, thank you so kindly for being here. Let's go ahead and get to some of your messages. Alistair Waters, actually, before I get to Alistair, I think I have John Smith. Bruce says, hold tight, your guns, not your children. John Smith says, Cruz is right. There were lots of laws the shooter broke. More laws wouldn't have stopped him either. If we had a law that said, you can only buy a gun at the age that you can drink. If we had a law that said that you couldn't buy that number of ammunition. If we had a law that said you couldn't use weapons of war. You can't sell weapons of war. I don't think there would be a problem, folks. Pedro Siosam Macgriana. He's a coward, wouldn't even defend his wife. That's an interesting name. Padraig Siosam Macgriana. Welcome aboard, Politics Done Right. I don't think I've seen you here before. All right, let's see what else we have. B Alpha, that's Bruce says he probably owns stock in Winchester or Colt firearms, probably. John Smith says Gilberto is missing the point that this shooter was showing a lot of signs of mental illness. So what? You know what is funny? They're trying to make the conversation a mental illness conversation. This is the same cabal. This is the same cabal of killers that decided they would not accept the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, which would have given aid to people with mental problems. So they're saying, oh, it's a mental problem and we're going to take care of it, but we're not going to give you any money to take care of it, even though Texans have already paid the money to take care of it. These guys are the biggest group. They are a failure. They are liars, and they care nothing about humanity. Don't fall for how they try. You know, they're great at messaging. I'm not going to argue with that. They message better than anybody else. They can turn something that stink as hell into some new form of perfume that needs maturity. I mean, they can do all kinds of things with messaging, but they're thugs, they're thieves, they're killers. And I'm not talking about the person who killed those 19 kids. I'm talking about the Republican politicians who created the policies that allowed him to kill all those kids. And I don't take any of this back. We ought to stop, as Brother Hernandez just said there. We have to stop. We have to remove the veil of civility. We need to be civil, but remove that veil of civility that prevents us from telling the truth to those killers. We've got to. Otherwise, more children die. More people get killed. We have to let America know what they're up about. Daniel says, are somebody who kills 19 kids crazy? Yeah, I think they're some kind of crazy or evil or whatever, but that doesn't matter. The gun was given to him by who gave this 18-year-old that gun? Who gave that 18-year-old that gun? Dan Patrick gave him that gun. Okay? Dan Patrick and Greg Abbott gave that 18-year-old that gun to do the killing. So they are responsible. They passed the laws that allows that kid to get that gun and effect mass slaughter. Don't you forget it. And folks, remember to tell people that whenever they're bloviating, remember causation, causation, causation. Absent those changes in laws by the Texas criminals that call themselves politicians in Austin, that would not have occurred. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. Alistair Water says, Bridge MCP, thanks for the link. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton qualifies as a prohibited person, yet there is no enforcement. There you go. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bridge MCP says, I can't put anything on the screen right now because I'm concerned that we have a minor crash that has already occurred and I don't want to create a major crash. Thank you, Sue Tuman, for your contribution as the latest member of the PDR Posse on YouTube. Please, folks, why don't you follow her lead and become a part of our PDR Posse? What's that on the screen? There we go. All right, continuing. Let's see what else we have here. We have Ben, Bridge MCP thinks that Ben did this so smoothly. I agree with you, Bridge. He's very good at what he does. Daniel Edos is replying to Bridge MCP. Well, before that, Michael Rudnin says Maywood. Then we have a serious problem. The United States has over 20 million AR-15 style rifles, and that's yeah. I mean, it's amazing. It was all business. Multiply that by a couple $100, and you see the kind of money we're talking about. Why these criminals continue to work for the NRA? Because it's a very lucrative business. Very lucrative business. Ledo says that then why are we not talking about mental illness? We are. You guys aren't. You guys only bring it up as a subject. When it comes to creating the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act that will pay for it, you balk. You say no. So you left a lot of people in Texas without health care, including without mental care. You can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. Democrats will use any tragedy to forward their agenda. No, this isn't our doing. This is y'all's doing. These are Republicans who put guns in the hands of people who shouldn't have guns. And not only did they put the guns in the hands of people who shouldn't have guns, they put the guns that murder human beings like they were. These are not guns. These are weapons of war. Don't forget it. All right, Michael Rodney says, can someone repeat this to Daniel? Republicans won't pass gun control to address mental illness any more than they will pass universal health care coverage that addresses mental health care in the first place. Exactly. That's what I was alluding to, sir. Bree says, and what is their agenda? Obviously not taking guns away. No, it's not. All right, let's see what else we have to say here. Egberto, can you tell me the name of that progressive who called Republicans evil? His name is a guy that I interviewed here called Andrew Schmuckler. Just look up Andrew Schmuckler and you'll find the interview that I did with him. And by the way, I'm doing a series with Andy Schmuckler. You know, we get into some good discussion and he will be on. I tell you what, while I'm on the road, I will be playing I think, Tim Danahy, also Schmuckler, and also what is his name? My good buddy. Uh, what is oh wow! You know when you hit a blank, right? Uh, Extreme Arturo. I'll be playing Extreme Arturo as well. So we have, while I'm on the road, we have coverage, and I'll probably try to check in from the phone while Roberto drives, and we'll have it play live, and I'll probably try to check it. We'll see how it works out. We'll see if we can get it done. Never tried it before, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, he's great and young. Yes, he's young, and that's what's great. We need youngsters in here moving the progressive message forward. All right, Maywood says the Republicans don't really have any agenda except maybe raise taxes on the poor, working and middle class people, and lower taxes. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Eric Hayes says if green is so good and dependable, why is California needing nuclear power? California asked the Biden administration whether its last nuclear plant could qualify for federal funds as it grapples with potential electricity shortfalls. Uh, I think you answered your own question. Until you build up the green energy, you have to do something for electricity. It's not going to happen overnight, is it? Come on, Eric. Don't be silly, my dear brother. You know better than that. All right, let's see. Michael Rudden says Eric Hayes, the deaths of children is an acceptable price for your so-called freedom. You don't see what's wrong with that thinking. See, there is no saving the climate. There is more Russia oil exports than ever, and I would freaking bet not near as safe in the rust bucket ships they use as well as technology. I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say because Russia is doing bad things, we need to just continue doing bad things as well. Come on. General Savage says if a few of those children would have fought back, they would have neutralized the attacker. We need to train the children to be kickboxers like Sheshai and Bukwal. I am not a kickboxer, so I don't know those names. Okay, so if I pronounce it wrong, forgive me. Let's see. AVQ says, General Savage, you want to militarize children, turn children into soldiers? What's wrong with you? I think General Savage was being funny. I think General Savage is a good progressive. I think he's a good progressive. Anyhow, keep sending me those messages, but it's time for me to say the following.
I'm Egberto Willies, as host of Politics Done Right, a progressive radio media show on Pacifica Network's KPFT 90.1 FM Houston that engages all ideologies. I found that our political angst isn't mostly ideological. There is a well-designed effort by many in power to control us. If we are at each other's throats, we are less likely to demand our economic and local wishes. In that light, I wrote 3 books. I wrote the first one titled, As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, to describe the entire economy in a manner we can all understand. It highlights why it was designed to pilfer most as it empowers a few, the chosen. The second book, titled, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, take it to the next level. After understanding how the system pilfers, it is incumbent that we can speak to our peers to empower a change. The third book, How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, gives us a place to land. After learning about our economy that is dysfunctional for most and learning how to engage the other side, we point out what would make an economy that works for all. Each book stands on its own, but together they provide the full picture. Please consider getting one or more. You will undoubtedly learn, be entertained, and help us continue the mission with our blogs, articles, videos, and books. I'm Egberto Willies, as host of Politics.
Okay, folks, I just added that link for the books into the feed. Please consider going ahead and getting that book. Everything keeps cutting in and out. Does anybody else experience that? Let me know if there's something that somebody else experienced that I haven't seen that. Anyhow, I put the link for the books in there, but here is the link. Please consider supporting us in the several different manners we have. For PayPal, go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal, politicsdoneright.com. Oh, where is that link? Where is my link? There is my link. politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can also support us on Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. And don't forget, if those of you who are not on YouTube but would like to support us on YouTube, consider going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. Remember, our store has a whole lot of new products in there now. Please go to our store. Anything that you buy at our store help keep moving the progressive message forward. politicsdoneright.com/store, politicsdoneright.com/store. And of course, there is the all-encompassing politicsdoneright.com/support, which gives you all the different forms in which you can support us. I don't know, I think I told you guys that I am now not moving, but I am also cross-blogging at Medium. No advertising or anything would be found on Medium. So for those of you who like, I hate all those ads on your thing, right? You can now go ahead and go to Medium and see all our articles that are there. And we write several articles there a day. Now, you, you can you can read a certain amount of articles free. I don't remember how many, but they also have a very inexpensive Medium membership that people may want to consider getting. And you don't only get a chance to read all my material, which is very voluminous, and also I think I released a couple of pieces of my book on Medium as well. You can also read everybody else's writings, and there are some damn good writers on Medium. Well, my daughter's also at Medium, I'm at Medium, and other very good writers are at Medium. So check it out at medium.egbertowillies.com/membership, and I just put that link in there as well. Anyhow, folks, let's continue with the notes and the questions and so forth. All right, Eric Hayes, what the heck are you talking about, Eric? No one, and certainly not the government, is forcing less refinery production or trying to restrict any production. Maybe make it cleaner so they are poisoning children and neighbor. And that's what I don't understand with Eric, right? For Eric, it is just drill, drill, baby, drill, and just refine, 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 refine. It doesn't matter that you throw dioxin into the air, into the ground, everywhere else. It doesn't matter that the cancers that these people get are cancers caused by the consumption or refining of these petrocarbons. It doesn't matter to them, right? Even though it's going to give these people cancer, emphysema, and all these other diseases, right? The question is, why don't we have these oil companies who infect people with these diseases by the byproducts that they have? Maybe if they were paying for it, then they will see the need to keep it cleaner and things better, right? But they're not doing that. They are not doing that. And that is what we have to work on. So thank you for pointing that out very well, Maywood. Michael says someone pass this along to Eric. I think somebody, part of the pattern with conservatives, first you deny that climate change is happening. Then you delay any action that might prevent the outcomes. Then you say we should do nothing because it is too hard to make a difference. Always on the wrong side. I mean, listen. This is something we've known for a long time, and the conservative methodology has been for decades one of the things that have held back this country for so long. It's the reason why for the masses, our technology is real, even our technology is behind. Let me tell you a little funny thing, right? I remember just before my father died, we went home, that we had a family reunion in Panama. And it was kind of interesting, right? Because in Panama, the internet was super fast. I'm here in Kingwood. All I could get then was DSL, right? That was fast then. Go to Panama, my third world supposed banana republic. I could talk to people throughout the world and the United States faster in Panama than I could in Houston, Texas at that time. I couldn't believe it. Then there was a time that I had to go back where these were the days that I used to do a lot of reports for CNN. We do, I was filing on average about 3 or 4 reports that would actually make it on air, about 3 to 4 reports a week. And I remember it was like I went home and I was concerned because I had to take care of my father who was having surgery. So I went home for a week to Panama. And I was concerned about the internet. I was going to be in Colón most of the time. Colón is the second largest city, the city that they least take care of because of, that's another subject. Anyhow, I am in his apartment on his internet, realizing that my dad had much faster internet than I did. Why is that? The way our economic system work with depreciations and all that kind of stuff, and because of laws that don't force certain changes, we could be working with ancient equipment because. So while we pat ourselves on the back, we are the best thing, we are exceptional. We should actually start taking a look at who, where, and why we are. We would get quite a bit of a surprise. You know, I don't know how many of you have gone to China or these other places, but when you go to their airports, you know, I went to Xi'an. Well, Xi'an at the time wasn't all that good, but Hong Kong and all these other airports, you know, it is comical the way it makes Kennedy look or these other airports. Now, Houston is kind of doing some improvements on its airport that started bringing it up into the second tier of airports. But we need to learn that this crap that Republicans like to teach and this crap about not paying your taxes so that you have a vibrant public sector, it's for the birds. Carl Cox says, better late than never. Where were you, Carl? Carl, why are you late? Kidding, buddy. Conservatives deny guns are dangerous even though innocent people are killed all the time, especially children. They want to have tons of weapons to overthrow democracy. I kind of believe that's the whole gist of the thing. It's not, but you know, it's not the overthrow of democracy as people think it. What they want to do is have people fearing. They want people to fear upholding their own personal democracy. Let me give an example. They want to be able to fear people into not voting. I don't want to go to the vote because we're going to have poll watchers with AR-15s. Okay? So here's how the Republicans work, right? We go ahead and tell everybody they can be armed. Everybody can be armed. And then all these old people and scary people that normally vote Democratic, they fear because they're not the kinds that carry AR-15s or want any trouble. So they hear that there are going to be poll watchers with AR-15s and they just don't show up to vote. And what is the second blessing that they do? Oh, we're going to eliminate mail-in voting where we can. And we're going to eliminate drop boxes. We want those people, if you want to vote, you're going to have to go to that polling location. And many are going to be scared to go to that polling location because those crazy conservatives are going to be out there with AR-15s. You see? The idea, folks, is not that they intend for their people to use these guns, although some of them will. The idea is to put the fear into those who would vote, who pretty much acquiesce to losing their democracy. They don't officially lose it, they just give the democracy to others to control. That's what they're doing. And that is what I spoke to a leader in the party where I said, when you have in Harris County, the big problem is that all these people are saying we're what have hiring. They're going to pay. The Republican Party in Harris County wants to pay poll watchers, and of course you can go with a gun to these places, right? And they want everybody to know that. To which I told a part of our party, I said, let me tell you guys something. This is what they're doing. They want to get Democratic voters or Republican voters who would ordinarily vote for Democrats, they want to get them scared and not vote at all. And then the job would have been done. And I said the response from the party must be, you have a poll watcher, we'll up you. This is our county with a majority of people that are Democratic and you're trying to take it away with guns. We are going to come ready. And then you advertise in your community, guys, you have to come to vote. We will be there to protect you. There will be nothing happening because we will be there to protect you. But if you just let it go into the air, people are going to make up their own minds and say, I'm not going to vote. There's going to be trouble. You have to be actively telling them what Republicans are trying to do to create minority rule. And then mitigate it by having your own force ready to go. That is what we have to do. I have some more videos, but I don't have the time to do it. So let me just go to some more questions. Let's see. Michael Rodden says between 2017 and 18, the average download speed of broadband internet in Panama nearly tripled, going from a recorded 2.3 megabits per second as of 2017 to approximately 7.05 MPS, the study period from June 2017 to 2018. There you go. Tell you what happened. You know, I love what my brother did there. He went to say, let me make sure Egberto is talking about the Panama I'm talking about. Yeah, that is what happened in Panama. Panama, you know, it's a great internet. And by the way, one of the cables, I think one of the underground fiber optic cables is destination is Panama. And then it branches out. You can look that up. Bruce Paul Egberto comparing US versus Panama internet speeds. We are more than twice as fast. As of 2017, the average internet connection speed in the United States was 18.75. That is true. Let me give a qualifier to that, okay? There are various pockets throughout this country, and for a long time it was Kingwood as well. They only have one carrier, one cable carrier, one DSL carrier, or whatever. And you have to take whatever they have to offer. So you take whatever they have to offer, or you go with the satellite, which is a lot slower. So while that is in the aggregate for both Panama likely and the United States, there are pockets that I can guarantee you are still using very old technology. Bruce Pollard says, I told you it had to do with local carrier we had, and now it connects to the internet. There you go. Bruce, what are you using? Are you using the new, what is it called? There's a new carrier in Texas, in Kingwood. Touche? What? I forgot the name. Have you tried it? Okay, let's see. Replying to Bruce Pollard, most definitely, as we in the US have a major problem with ISPs, established regional monopolies and duopolies, they jack up the prices. Yes, they do. Egberto, exactly. Egberto, can you read this out? Most definitely, as we in the US have a major problem with ISPs, establishing regional monopolies and duopolies, then jacking up the price. Yes, we do. Comcast Direct. Okay, how fast are you, Bruce? I imagine you are probably close to a gigabyte if you're using Comcast. I think they have the gigabyte speed, if I recall correctly. All right, what else we got here? Replying to Eric Hayes. Maywood, it's you that wants, no, this is Eric Hayes talking. It's you that wants it all changed, no matter what. Sacrifice the lower and middle class. Open your eyes. It is the administration that says it in its own word. This will be painful to you, and so that means the policy pushes. No, okay. Let's correct it. It does not have to be painful. We choose to make it painful. We could take the money away from the oil company. It is our oil. Pay them for mining it. Pay them for tacos. That's right, tacos. Pay them for mining it. Pay them a little stipend. But the oil belongs to we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. You see, we have been taught to believe finders keepers, as if they generated the oil. They didn't. Come on, people. Let's start getting some oomph, right? Let's start defending who we are. Brief says, I have half a gig. You go, girl. And let's see. Eric says tacos, and it's not up yet, Egberto. Actually, I have a lot of friends who already have it. Bruce says 1 gig to Comcast, 700 meg to the internet, sometimes symmetric. Oh, you get symmetric sometimes. That's good. Yeah, in Kingwood, I have one of the cable companies, and I have it's asymmetric. It's 1 gig down, and I think it is 300 or 500 gig up, something like that. So it's asymmetric. Eric says, nope, you don't have to be painful. Say greed is inflationary. It's just fundamentally wrong, and it is supply and demand. Okay, I hear you. I hear you, Eric. Unfortunately, you're wrong, right? Supply and demand is a real thing. I'm not going to say you're wrong about supply and demand, but you're wrong about it has to be that way. Anyway, we are right up against the hour, and I want to ask you one more time, folks, to please support Politics Done Right. How can you do that? Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Know that all you will ever get from us is the truth. Know that you have your voice. We interview our own as well as Carl Cox and Bruce Pollard can tell you. Those are the two I see online that have been interviewed. Sometime I am pretty sure Eric Hayes will come on, as well as Alistair Waters. So anyway, folks, please remember, support Politics Done Right, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal, or you can find an all-encompassing link at politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Folks, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.